is smaller?
My world got smaller.
My world got smaller. Okay, this is a research topic, and the objectives are to collect information about your topic from numerous sources, carefully support your points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research, and the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Please welcome Michelle.
Yeah, let's welcome.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, we don't have any guests today, but fellow Toastmasters and our interim Toastmaster for today. Well, in lands far, far away, two young brave women, boarded planes and left everything behind. They left their families, their friends, their pets, everything that they knew in coming to the United States to be my exchange students. And of course, I've told you many stories about them, but I want to tell you more about them today. So one came from what I call the land of trolls, and the other came from the land of Santa. The land of trolls is, of course, Norway, and that was Christine Sully. I still don't say her name right, and I'm just calling her Chris these days. There's something like Christine at the end, but I haven't quite gotten that, so we just settled on Chris. The other is Ada Kekalainen, and she's from Finland, the land of Santa. Now those are kind of mythical things, they're not really true, but I'm going to tell you things about their lands that are true. And I will be basing all my information on these books that they've given me. So the one about Norway, any facts about Norway will come from this book. And then stories from Finland will come from this book. And then my boost from Norway will be here with us also.
Awesome.
So in Finland, they speak Finnish. In Norway, they speak Norwegian. But obviously, we have to have a common language, so they just do speak English, both of them, and very fluently. There are some things that we are still working through, but for the most part, we do understand each other. It's a very interesting phenomenon. You would think, so this research is actually talking to the girls, not from these books, but you would think that they would understand our humor, and we thought that, or I would thought that they would understand, especially my sense of humor, which is very dry and sarcastic. But funny thing is, all of the programs that they watch are actually in English. They didn't know how to speak it as well, but they understand all the sarcasm, so that worked out great for us. So first, Finland. Finland has been first part of Sweden, but then it's been under the Russian control. And at one point in 1940, they lost 11% of their country to Russia. The land there looks like Swiss cheese. And the reason I say that is there's over 190,000 lakes there. It's just a whole country stitched together with all these lakes. So it's just a beautiful place. They love the outdoors there. They love being in nature. There's lots of national parks. And of course, having the climate that they do, they love winter sports. Almost everybody skis there. Cross-country skiing is probably more the norm, but they do the downhill skiing also. They're not a very social people in a way. They like to go ice fishing, but they don't really like to go with people. They just like to go meditate by themselves. Something else they like to do, that alone or with family members, which is kind of odd, is saunas. Saunas is a big thing there. Matter of fact, the word sauna comes from the Finnish language. Sauna to them is a little weird. We've had a lot of discussions about this, and they do not mind to get completely undressed in front of their family members, not necessarily strangers, and to go into these saunas. So we've had many discussions about this, trying to understand it. Now, even the girl from Norway was a little thrown off by this, but they see nothing wrong with it. They also do not, as far as their social aspects go, they don't really socialize with people outside of their social circles. It's a very close society. So for me to walk down the street and say hi to a stranger was a very odd phenomenon. And I think they cowered and were like, what is she doing? Is she talking to those people she doesn't know? But so our society is much more open and social, I would say. They have some unique features to their land, such as the Northern Lights, which in the farther part of Finland is the land of Lapland, and that's where you really see the northern lights show. Next is Norway. Norway has some very interesting features. It's called the Gateway to the North. It has fjords. It's just a really cool country. It has waterfalls. It has large and small islands. It has glaciers. It has all these different things that just make it very unique. It has 63,000 miles of coastline. And that's because of all the fjords. It's because of all the islands that they have. They border several different countries. They border Russia, they border Finland, and they border Sweden. Russia is a very small part of it, but mostly it's Sweden and Finland. And the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean keeps their country warm because the Gulf Stream of Mexico actually goes all the way up there. The land is very mild along that shoreline, but inward where the mountains come up, it's very rugged and it's very hard to get to. So the inhabitants started about 10,000 years ago, and that is when you hear the Vikings. They were about 300 years of rule there. Outdoors is also important to theirs, and they love to be outside. They love to be in nature. They love the national parks. They love the northern lights, which they also have, and they love the midnight sun. Norway is one of those countries that you would love to live there in a way because they have one of the highest per capitas in the world. Right now they're 4th, but they have on average $59,000 per person. In 2007, they had 91,000 per capita. And that came from the Trading Economic site. They have free healthcare, free education, and they're very good with families and to support them in growing. So my world got smaller because these students came into my life. I learned so much more and understood so much more about other cultures. They are not the same as us, but they are. They're teenagers, so they're the same as us. They leave their, sometimes they forget to pick up their things. And I thought, oh, I thought that just was my son, but fortunately it was them also. So I would like to encourage you to make your world smaller, just like I made my world smaller. Toastmaster. I didn't even get to the other parts. I could have gone on for 10 minutes.
The next speech.
My next speech,
Yeah, the next speech is going to be given by Robert, and to introduce Robert, Jana is going to be the evaluator.
All right, Robert is doing project 2 in the